In this video, we are going to talk about the potential movement of BNB coin up near this resistance zone. So let's see what's going on with it today. Good morning, traders. Welcome back to our channel, and we're back with Binance coin here on daily time frame, and straight to the point. We see price is having a really nice push since this 200 EMA pushed the price towards this resistance line, which has been holding the price since the end or even the beginning of the summer. So you can see it here. We had this major drop and price just stayed below this resistance line and forming a nice path of sideways movement, meaning forming resistance here, forming a nice support here, and now again touching this resistance line. Now we have multiple potential scenarios here that can happen, but they will get a confirmation only once we see a nice breakout from here and a retest confirmed, or a nice movement to the lower zones, meaning towards this trend which has been building up since the beginning of October. Now, to give you a better example, we're going to draw a few of examples. So if we see a nice breakout happening from here, meaning a nice candle confirming and closing price on the upper side of this resistance line, meaning a nice movement here, then a nice retest to that same trend, sorry, not trend, but resistance line, forming it into a potential support line, and then showing a nice bounce towards this line here, or let's say not a line but a zone, so from this zone to this zone. But if we see any kind of weakness kicking here and similar movement to this, meaning a nice wick but not closing above this line, then we will see most likely a price movement of something like this retest to this zone, then this trend here, and bouncing from one side to another until we reach this middle line, or not the middle line, but this pressure point of Binance coin, so somewhere near this zone. And this would be the last major point where price has to decide either it will go to the upper zones or it will break down and go to touch this the lower side of this sideways movement. So on a daily time frame, we see it's not so clear as of now, but we are approaching this resistance line and the movements are pretty clear, meaning that if we see a breakout, then we will most likely long it after this retest, meaning potential movement again here, and then we will most likely long it something like this. But if we see a breakout, price secures but retest fails and price gets back below this line, then the position should be something like this. So only once we see the price back here touching this liquidity line here, and then a potential movement of course to the lower zones. As if we see a failed attempt to break out, meaning forming a nice fake out, then we will most likely break also this trend line here, as it's not as strong as we would hope it to be, but upon going to the lower zones here, we will most likely break both 200 EMA, the middle line of Bollinger Bands, and also the 100 EMA as well, which should be near this zone here. So it would be pretty strong support zone, but after having a nice rejection near this major resistance zone, just historical looking, we have had some pretty nice rejections happening. So starting from here, we had like 12% of market price movement, or even here we can see we had basically 20% of market price movement. So with that being said, on a daily time frame, we have to wait just a little bit more and not to rush into a position either like, okay, we are near resistance zone now and we should like trade down shorted, but we have to wait for a clear breakout or a clear rejection happening, meaning if we see price closing below this line, again, showing some kind of retest, maybe not so big one, but let me give you an example. So we had a similar outcome here. We tested, we closed below, the next one retested it and went to the lower side of this chart basically. So we might see similar kind of movements if we don't secure the zone, or we might see also this kind of movement. So closing below, and then this would be potential position opening zone as well. So if we see any kind of movement like wick forming here, price closing here, and the next daily candles, let's say first 4 to 6 hours will be bearish, meaning during the Asian session, then we will most likely see a nice movement to the lower zone, so following this path here. So with that being said, zooming out now, this is the play out that we are seeing right now. Of course, we can see something like this, that we have a nice rejection here, small retest, and then further movement, completely breaking it and ignoring this trend line as well, and movement to this zone. And after this zone, of course, a movement to upper zones. But as we mentioned already, all we can do is wait and see, either we see a nice breakout or a breakdown. So the entry points would be somewhere after this retest or after this retest here, meaning nice retest, potential breakout, and somewhere near this zone would be our long position. And same goes for here, potential retest and somewhere near this line, so meaning like $250 would be our entry price for the short position. So this is it for today. We hope you liked this BNB very short video, and as always, stay smart and trade safely. See you in the next session.